Now, I mentioned before, my brother, he's got kind of a collection of old tractors. He buys them up at auction sales and, fixes them and stuff. And one of the ones he picked up at an auction sale is this old International Backhoe. Well, I borrowed this for a few days. I've got some projects that a backhoe would make a lot handier. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a problem for me because these, I've run backhoe before, quite a little, but newer style ones. Now, this old one, the controls are all different, and it's one of them situations where it would probably be easier if I had never run one before, because my instincts are going to be all wrong. Normally if you run a backhoe for any length of time, you get so it's kind of an extension of you, and it's not hard to run. But I've got to fight that instinct to do it that way. But what I'm going to do here, a year or two ago, I had put a culvert in here, and it's a plastic culvert. And plastic culverts work fine, and they're really cheap, but you have to get them deep enough. Now, I got it in here with my Belarus, just by digging with the bucket. And then I hauled dirt in. But there's a kind of a little berm here that stops water that's supposed to drain. It doesn't come straight, it has to go back there. This is kind of a spring that starts right here. So, what has happened now, it's washed ruts in here, and I don't want that to get, it's getting souped up. So I want to dig this dirt out of here, dump it in these ruts, and I'll probably haul some more sand in here too and fill. Because like I say, plastic culverts are fine, and they're cheap, but the mistake I commonly see is people don't bury them deep enough. I'll kind of show you on a piece of dirt here. Okay, the problem people usually have with plastic culverts is they don't bury them deep enough. Now, see, this is the side, end-on view of the culvert. What you really have to think of it as a triangle. And you want to make sure you have at least that much dirt over the top, preferably double that. And if you get up like double that distance, you're in great shape. But like mine now, it's rutted down to where I'm getting to about this point. Well, that can't happen, because then you could easily cave it in, because it counts on the stress all the way around it, and this distributes evenly. Another problem people have is when they go to, say this is a side-on view, like say your trail goes here, you dig a trench, put a culvert in. Now what people tend to do is start filling the culvert from the center. What happens then is the ends bow up. So what you really have to do, instead of starting in the center, fill the ends first and then work your way to the middle. And then the culvert will stay flat. Because I've seen many of them where it bows up, sticks almost just out of the ground. That doesn't work that way. But those plastic culverts are relatively cheap, and they do the job. You just have to put them in right. But I see a lot of them put in wrong. better. I'll take the Belarus and push the dirt in. It works. Controls are really, it seems to be the opposite of what I'm used to, because a lot of times if I want to swing it, I swing it the wrong way. But do it a whole lot faster than shoveling. And I get used to it eventually, but then I suppose I'll have trouble getting back to the regular system when I do. Well, I made good progress here. You know, the end of the culvert is right here. And I dug her a little deeper so it doesn't silt in. Been dealing with a lot of tree roots here. And she's getting pretty damp because, like I say, there's a spring that starts like right here. You can see where there's this clear sand. That's where the water's running through. So that'll pool up a bit. Damn, this hoop hole. But that should work good. Spring will probably run a little better, because this is one that goes right by my place. It starts here, but then it picks up as it goes along. There's more little ravines that feed into it, so it gets going pretty good when it goes by me. But I had to get this opened up so I can fix the road. But now, you got a lot of slop here. Well, some of this is pretty good sand that'll have to come with the Belarus and flatten that all out, shove it in the ruts and build her up a little bit. There won't be a problem.